In a supposedly random parking lot, a woman parks her station wagon and starts to anxiously look around. She reads something on her phone and puts the keys for the car in quite an obvious spot, where anyone can easily take them, and then leaves on foot. Kenny is a seemingly normal 19-year-old who works at the local diner. As a runner, he is quite timid and doesn't really have any friends to speak of. However, it appears that he has quite a soft spot for children. Upon finishing work and getting back home, he finds his laptop missing from his room and goes to his sister. She says she tried to install a free movie app, then his computer just started to bug out. After warning her not to take it again, he goes back to his room and finds that his sister unknowingly installed a virus. The boy downloads a free random anti-malware software to fix the problem, and while it works its magic, his webcam suspiciously starts to record without alerting him. The next day at work, he finishes up as usual, but when arriving back home, his sister spots him installing a lock on his door and calls him crazy. Just before dinner, his single mother tells him there's food in the fridge and heads out to go on a date. Whilst watching television, Kenny sees the hot women on TV and gets the urge to masturbate. He locks his door, closes the blinds, and gets ready to whack one out quickly. Having erased any evidence, he happens to see he has a new cryptic email he doesn't recognize. Attached to the message, he sees the entire recording of what had just transpired. The 19-year-old starts to freak out badly and doesn't know what to do. After covering his webcam, he gets another email. They threaten him with releasing the video to all his relatives and order him to send them his phone number. Not being able to think rationally, he gives them his number and thus gets sent more cryptic messages, stating to keep his location services on and he will be activated when the time comes. Kenny asks them who they are, but simply gets told to keep his mouth shut and that he is being watched. Consequently, he starts worrying, but to get to this level of stress over being caught pleasuring himself, it seems there is something we don't know. The following morning, his mother asks Kenny if he's alright since he's acting quite strange, but the boy plays it normal and doesn't arouse any further suspicion. The day continues like usual with nothing out of the norm occurring. The boy gets ready for his shift, and suddenly he gets a message. The unidentified number from yesterday announces he has been activated and must arrive at the designated location at 12 o'clock sharp. Kenny tells them he's at work, but they simply push the deadline forward. Feeling like they aren't playing around, the boy says to his boss that he feels sick for the day and has to go home. She agrees, but before she even finishes her sentence, he runs out and starts cycling. Despite the journey being an hour long, he has no choice but to get there in 45 minutes, otherwise they will leak the video. Kenny gets to the location just in the nick of time, to which the unidentified number messages him to wait a little. Surprisingly, a guy drives up to him whilst covering his face with a helmet. Without exchanging any words, he grabs a box from his luggage compartment and hands it to the boy. He tells him it's fragile, and instead of answering what it is, the man simply takes a photo of him and states that they told him to do that. Kenny tries to get more information, but the moped driver tells him that he just has to do whatever the number messages him and they'll let him go after the task is complete. After the guy drives off, they message him again and give him new instructions to deliver the package to this address. The boy tries to figure out how he'll cycle with the box but gives up and takes the bus. On the way there, his curiosity gets the best of him and he opens the box. He sees that it's just a celebratory cake, and that seems to calm him down quite a bit. The address turns out to be a hotel, so he acts like a delivery boy and heads to the room numbered 121. At first, the man inside tells him to go away, so Kenny texts the unknown number. What should he do? They tell him to say Mindy sent you, to which the man immediately opens the door and brings him inside. Hector asks him to explain himself, but all Kenny says is that the phone people text him what to do, and he just obeys. Whilst aggressively questioning the boy on why he would follow instructions from a complete stranger, he hears a notification from his own phone, which makes him hurry to the bathroom, and he is heard vomiting. Upon his return, he starts to chug the alcohol from the mini fridge. Kenny asks if he can leave now, but the number texts him no and instead to take the man's picture. He freaks out but quickly calms down, saying that they told him he needs to go with the boy and deliver the package to another address they gave him. Kenny asks why both of them, but Hector states he doesn't know. Instead, the phone people gave him the license number of a car that they'll take in the parking lot. The license number turns out to belong to the same station wagon that the woman left in the first scene of the movie, meaning that the guy on the moped is also possibly just a pawn on the board that the mysterious number has been blackmailing. On the way to the map coordinates, Hector feels quite drunk from all the alcohol he drank earlier and opens up to Kenny on what he's being blackmailed with. He was at that hotel to meet with a prostitute called Mindy, which is why he opened the door when Kenny said that name. He says he found the sex worker on a normal-looking website and even exchanged several revealing images. The phone people turned out to have set up that entire website up and have now threatened to reveal the pictures and plans to his wife and kids, so that's why he is following their orders for now. He adds that family life is good, but he just got hit with the urge to sleep with a 20-something-year-old again for old time's sakes. But obviously, if his wife finds out, she will take the house and the kids, and he'll never be allowed to see them ever again. Kenny feels reluctant at first, but then reveals what the phone people got on him. Hector seems surprised because everyone masturbates now and again, so he has nothing to be ashamed of, but Kenny insists that if the video leaks, his entire life will be ruined. Once they get to the desired location, the pair are ordered to open the package and dig through the cake. They get confused but do it anyway. Inside the package, it's revealed that it was carrying a disguise and a real gun. Simultaneously, they receive another message reading they need to decide who is driver and who is robber. They both realize that the phone people want them to rob the bank across the road. Hector conveniently says that since Kenny doesn't have his driver's license yet, it's obvious who should be the driver. Kenny starts to panic and refuses to take part anymore, but Hector knows if he gets exposed, he'll lose his family. Therefore, the man starts to make a huge deal out of the boy's masturbation, claiming that if he was in Kenny's current position, he'd kill himself on the spot. And if the video leaks, everyone he knows will start bullying him for life, and the clip will become a permanent stain on his name. It seems that his barrage of insults was too effective, but it actually seemed to encourage Kenny to continue with the robbery. Hector assures him that he will still be parked outside when he is done, thus the boy gets ready to complete his task. Upon entering the bank, he doesn't waste any time and pulls the gun.
Just give me money!
The woman spots him peeing himself and feels sorry for him, but nonetheless, she actually asks for his bag and fills it to the brim. Kenny nervously but successfully leaves the bank, but he discovers that Hector is nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, he emerges from a side street, opening the passenger door, and says that he saw someone watching him, so he moved the car to be safe. As the pair head away from the scene of the crime, the man decides to wait for the traffic light, but the boy urges him to start speeding. He spots the wet patch in his trousers and understands his anxiousness. The two start to hear police sirens but don't know what direction they are coming in. But Hector decides to continue playing it cool, and it ends up paying off. They successfully get to the designated location the phone people asked for, and they both get messaged their supposed final instructions. They order Hector to destroy the car by himself, while Kenny should walk on foot to reach another location. Confused on why he has to be the one to deliver money, he reminds himself he doesn't get any say in the matter and steps out the car. The man apologizes for his barrage of insults and shouting from earlier and claims he's an alright guy when stuff is normal. The two shake hands and go off in their separate directions. Kenny keeps walking uphill until he reaches the small forest on the peak. Upon further walking in, he spots a man drinking heavily and gets warned about getting any closer. He tells him to wait until he sets things up. After the drone is in the air, he asks if Kenny has the prize money for the fight. The boy gets confused, but the man clarifies that the phone people have ordered them to fight each other and the winner gets the money. Furthermore, he claims he wouldn't do this normally, but if the phone people release the information they have on him, his life will be ruined.
Fucking over.
Kenny states that all he did was look at some photos online, but the man claims that's all that he was caught doing as well. He then asks the boy how old were the girls in the photos he was looking at. He starts crying and can't admit the truth. At that same moment, Kenny gets a message ordering him to fight to the death, and the man tries to lunge at him. When Kenny pulls out his gun, the man tries some crocodile tears, but it seems unneeded since the boy decides to attempt suicide instead. Turns out the gun never had any bullets inside, thus the fight goes on with the drone continuing to record the whole thing. Somewhere else, we see the same woman from the start who parked her station wagon receive a troll face picture, and it's revealed the phone people released what they had on her anyway, despite her successfully following their commands. Next, we see the moped driver from earlier get messaged the same picture, and his family is heard calling him a pervert. Finally, we see Hector arrive home only to have a relieved look on his face as he watches his beloved children sleeping peacefully. He walks into the room in which his wife was waiting for him, and she says the prostitute's name.
Mindy.
Lastly, we see that Kenny was the degenerate that emerged victorious, meaning that he killed the other creep and took the prize money. He too receives the same troll face and a call from his mother, who frantically tries to get her son to clarify what's happening. She's saying all her friends at work have seen the video, and they're saying he was looking at kids.
Looking at kids! Lindsay's orders!
He forgot to turn off his location services, and thus the police arrived to arrest the child predator.
Hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to have a cool ass day.